Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to a very special one as I go over the top 10 releases from 2024. But before we see who are the champions for this year in releases, let's do a quick fiddle tune and we'll get right into it. And what better tune than this? All right, I know you're not here to really listen to me play all the way through the Queen Classic, We Are the Champions. You're really here to see what are the top 10 releases from 2024. So as you can see behind me, there's quite a few things that I've reviewed over the year, but stick around and I'll get right into my list. All right, let's get into this list, and let me just start by saying this is one of my most enjoyable videos to do of the entire year, reflecting back on what I found is what I thought was the best. Now, to be clear, this is just my opinion, all right? I clearly have a proclivity for certain types of effects, and so what I love and think is awesome, maybe some won't agree with me. I think my list is probably pretty different than most, although to be honest, I haven't looked at others yet because I don't like to be influenced by other people's lists. I'll go check all those out when I'm done. And I have a general rule, and I'll tell you when I'm breaking my rule here. My general rule here is that I will only put on my top 10 list those products that I reviewed over the course of the year. There are so many products released throughout the entire year, and there's no way that I can get my paws on every single one of them. Couldn't afford all of that and the time it takes. So you'll just be seeing the ones that I have reviewed, with maybe some minor exceptions. So let's get right into it. There's no particular order in this, but I'll highlight the ones I think are like really maybe my top 5. Let's start off with, well, I was thinking about doing an editorial. Like, there was a lot of releases this year, and I didn't have any, as I have in previous years, where I went like, oh, the top 10 are super easy choices for me. This year, I had a harder, there was none, I should say, there were none that I went, oh my gosh, like these 6 are just amazing. I would just say my top 10 is ones that are just real solid. So let's start off with someone who is doing freaking awesome when it comes to releases, and that is Eric Stevens. And he released Sticks this past year. Now, to be clear, Sticks is not like a new idea or concept with releases. It is basically the hot rod gimmick, which has been around forever. However, Eric Stevens has released what I really honestly consider the masterclass when it comes to the hot rod. If you already own hot rods, you love hot rods, that's great. I still think this is worth picking up because of the true masterclass in the hot rod gimmick. And masterclass is thrown around a lot. I think it's thrown around a lot inappropriately, that it doesn't apply to a lot of releases, even though they use the term. It does, however, truly and genuinely apply to Sticks by Eric Stevens. So there's my first one on the list. Let's go next to 52 Cheetah. Now, I felt like the end of last year, the end of 2023, 2024 was kind of the year of the index. And Cheetah 52 Cheetah is a single pocket index and has been around, actually, I think, well, maybe it was released in the last year or year and a half. I would have to say, of the indexes that are out there, this is one of the best. And I'm going to go to the next within this category, and that is Eddie Raymond's Rough and Smooth Index. These are 2 indexes that are definitely different, but both very good. They are both single pocket indexes. In my opinion and experience, these are the 2 best on the market. I know there was a lot of hype for decks in the previous year, and these are both better than decks, quite frankly. And I sort of hate to say that because the folks who released it, like Lloyd Barnes, who I think is awesome and a great creator, along with Javier, I just think these are better. So I put these in my pocket a lot, and for a good chunk of the year I was using my 52 Cheetah, and then I'd switch over to my Eddie Raymond's index, and I'd say, oh, I like this one better, and then I'd switch back to this one and go, I like this one better. They're both good, a little bit unique, but when it comes to indexes, those are my two strong recommendations there, and they make my top 10 for 2024. Okay, let's go on to somebody who really came onto the scene in the last 2 years and is crushing it. And I believe not yet done with their level of creativity, and that's Crazy Sam. Crazy Sam's Mind. This was the one that was released, I think, at Black Bull a year ago. And it is where you're able to take objects like potato chips specifically, and with your mind, shatter them. Brilliant, original thinking, and Crazy Sam's Fingering was released in the previous year. Any of his products he's putting out through Hansen Chin are just amazing. You'll be underwhelmed with what you get in the package, but you will overwhelm your audience with the experience. Okay, Phoenix by Hygar. Now, I could not find my... Wait, let's take a pause. I went digging to find this next one on the list, and it is Phoenix by Hygar and Hansen Chin. I said this before when I did the initial review. I think this is the best pen penetration through bill on the market. You're able to penetrate the bill with a pen and then restore it and have your spectator freely touch it and hold the bill. I really, really like it. I do think it's the best on the market and is well deserving on being high on the top 10 list for the releases this year. The next is the Shell Game. Now, the Shell Game released through TCC Magic, which, by the way, this year, TCC crushed it when it comes to just genuine, beautiful, classic props. They are my go-to for that. And if you don't typically go to TCC Magic, please go check out their page. You're just always going to find high quality products. But they did release the Shell Game this year, and I felt like the Shell Game, which is the classic walnut and peas, except done with shells, and find the pea type of a routine. Just a great high quality prop, and I love it. I just think it was really nice. And I decided to put it on the list, even though it's like not something that's brand new. There's lots of Shell Game routines out there and props that are used for it. I just think this is really one of the best on the market. Well worth consideration. You'll find it easy to perform with just beautiful props. So, the Shell Game. Next on my list, and I kind of wanted to keep this one secret for a long time, and then I did a review in the past couple months, but it is the Invoked Deck. Now, you're going, wait, that's just a deck of playing cards, FiddlinJonny. Why did that make the list? It made the list because I know people use the term Swiss Army knife tool of magic, and this really, really is. This is a marked deck of cards, but it's got a very unique marking system that uses sort of an analog process. Also includes side markings and edge markings both on the long edge and the short edge, so that you can identify any card anywhere in the deck just by looking at the markings on the side. It's beautiful. It is not obvious to any spectator, very easy to read, and allows you to do a whole bunch of routines with a marked deck. So if you don't have the Invoked Deck, you should just go get it. This is Really one of my favorite deck of cards to perform with. And it sort of overtakes another deck that's very similar, which is the Butterfly decks, which I think are just look gorgeous. They may look more beautiful. I find these a little more practical to use. So anyway, the Invoked Deck is on my list and very high on my list. All right, it's hard to do 2024 without mentioning the one and only Tobias Doal. I often think this is the year of Tobias. He came out with multiple releases, but I'm going to just do both of these at the same time. Repo and Liquefy. I love them because they're just a very original creation using sort of some classic methods and updating them and changing them and modifying them to really fit his desire. I'll first talk about Liquefy. And Liquefy is basically taking solid objects and turning them into a gooey mess, mostly metallic type objects that you could take metal and melt it with your fingers and then turn it into a ring and then convert it back if you wanted to. You could take ketchup packets and convert the ketchup in your hand into a red metal ring. So lots that you can basically from that idea with the props that are involved with this. I would add, I am still working on this. I do not feel like my presentation looks great. It's super easy, but really does require practice and a lot of time in front of the mirror. So a great product, but if you get it, plan to spend time in front of the mirror. Next, however, was Repo. Now, of the two, Repo was my favorite, is my favorite, and Repo has gone into my regular set. I love performing it because it's kind of beautiful and has a level of elegance. It's the ability to make things appear, and specifically in this, you make a chain appear, you make a key appear, you allow the key to be able to penetrate and become part of the chain, and then they can all just disappear. And you can show your hands quite freely, do it in close-up, and it is very amazing for your spectator and easy to do. And I think there's a lot of creativity in how you want to put together your presentation. So, congratulations, Tobias. I love your brain and the way it works, and Repo is just an awesome release. Okay, this is probably, maybe it's my favorite release. This and Repo are kind of some of my favorites that make the list that I reviewed. Loki by Adam Dadswell really is such an awesome release. And I know not everyone's going to probably agree with me, but I love the method in this. If you watch the review, that became very clear. And it's basically where you take a padlock and you attach something to the padlock like somebody's ring, and then they must choose the proper key while either blindfolded or from behind their back, and every single time their choices will lead them to the key that will unlock the lock. And then it has an awesome kicker, because most people think, well, maybe all of the keys unlock it. They do not. The other keys are uncut keys and can't open it, and they can try it. They can touch all the props and totally 100% inspectable, nothing to find, nothing gimmicked. It's the type of release that you can also scale it up. You could padlock people together if you wanted to. Chain them all up and padlock them and have somebody make sure that they pick the correct key, otherwise they're padlocked together. That would have to fit a certain style, I suppose, for people, but I love it. I think it's so fun from a presentation point of view. I think that hits my top 10, but let's talk about some honorable mentions. Maybe I should have done honorable mentions first and then done top 10, but hey, here we are. If I was to go into some honorable mentions, I would mention, and I have my keys here somewhere, there they are, Swiss Key, here by Hansen Chin Productions. It is another key through bill penetration. I love it because it makes, again, it's another variation of an everyday carry with beautiful props. The props with this one are really, really nice, and I think it's worthy of an honorable mention on the list this year. Now I want to go into two products that I did not review. I will review them in the future, but I wanted to put them on the list right now because one, I want you aware of them. They're deserving of being on this list, even though I did not review them yet on the channel. And they are, I'll start with from Alakazam Magic, and it is E2, the Extractor Deck by Rob Bromley and Peter Nardi. An amazing gimmick that is wonderfully crafted, that allows you to have a spectator return a card to the deck and you to be able to retrieve that card instantaneously to do a reveal however you want, or do a peek if you just wanted to do a peek. But it's a great tool, the Extractor Deck, and worth every bloody penny of it, and I'll talk about that in a future review. And then next, I have not talked about this on the channel at all, but it is already part of my regular set, and I've been performing this for months, and it is the Grail. It's released through Alakazam Magic, released by Mike Rose. Not a new release, was released years ago, as I recall, but it is basically a card at number routine, and there are so many card at number routines, or any card at any number routine. I really like that plot a lot, but I dislike most versions of it, to be honest, from a performer perspective. And this one I love. And it comes with just multiple ways to be able to present it, but basically it's a great any card at any number that anybody can do, and I think it's appropriately named the Grail. I have seen some other new any cards at any number releases come out, and it's like, nah, I don't feel like I need to go for it because I found the Grail, which really satisfies my desire to perform it, and perform it with a routine that I like, with a method that I like, and this ticks off all the boxes for me. All right, that's it for me, for my top 10 of 2024. I want to hear from you. Please, all of you, put down in the comments, what is your favorite release or favorite releases from 2024? Would love to hear it. Share why you think it's one of the best releases. There's something you thought, oh my God, I can't believe you put that on the list. Tell us down in the comments why you think it should not be on the list, because I think that's just as helpful for people who are considering products. Now, most of you are out there looking at what are products that are worthy of consideration. Everything I've shared today, in my opinion, is a worker, great, and can be mastered by just about anyone. All right, that's it. Thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate you leaving the comments. If you have not yet hit that like button, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. I sound like I'm begging, but okay, I'll beg. Please hit that like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I don't know why you're waiting. I'm not going anywhere. I am around, and you should hit that subscribe button as I will continue to put up videos here. Thanks everyone. I'm FiddlinJonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.